Welcome to Tuesday Talks. I'm Darleen and my special guest is Omu. Now, Omu is a speaker, trainer, and coach, and she's passionate about transforming lives and helping them achieve success. She serves as an executive director and national trainer in BNI. And if anyone doesn't know what BNI is, it is I will get you to ask it, but I do know it's business networking, and yours is international, isn't it? Beautiful. So, Omu, take it away. Let me, tell me about you and who you are and what you do and where you are and all the exciting stuff.
It's nice to meet you, Darleen. I'm so happy to share this platform with you. My name is Omu Obilor, like you've introduced me. I live in Nigeria and I'm blessed to work globally. I work as a speaker trainer and a coach, and I serve people to walk them through life's issues, life's limiting beliefs, ranging from imposter syndrome, perfectionism, self-doubt, self-loathing, um, so all sorts of limiting beliefs, really. We all have at some point passed through we've always had to deal with one or the other. So that's what I do. I absolutely love networking, and I've been in BNI for about 9 years. And I serve as the executive director, and national trainer, and it's been an excellent journey.
Oh, how exciting. Like, I just love it. And I love the fact that you said we do actually go through, different limiting beliefs. And I mean, I can personally attest to that. I've been through, I think, just about every one of them. And,
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit, about limiting beliefs. What are they and why do we get them?
The whys really, that it could vary. Sometimes they come from the way we've been raised, the environment we've been raised. For some people, it's from different life experiences at different points in time in their life. I find a lot of times people will say, oh, let's get to the root. What happened during your childhood? I have come to find out that sometimes it's not about what happened in your childhood. It could actually be something that happened midway down the line. And I say this because I use myself. I grew up in a loving environment. I had absolutely no reason to doubt myself. I grew up in an environment where everyone thought I was the best thing that happened since sliced bread. Everyone had confidence in me. I have thought so hard, and there was really nothing that was done or said to me to make me lack confidence. That said, I'm able to trace my lack of confidence. Well, then the sudden lack of confidence I experienced, I was able to trace it to incidences that happened much later in life. That is not to say there are no other aspects of my life that I can trace to my childhood. For instance, I found out that I was a people pleaser, and I found out that growing up, I was raised to think that it was my responsibility that everyone should be happy. Try to make her happy, try to accommodate. The way my brain registered it was, even if it was going to cost you your life, let the person be happy while you're unhappy.
Wow.
That was where my brain registered it, So I wouldn't, I mean, I use this, I try to use myself as an example because it's a journey I actually went through. So for instance, I had a strict granddad strict, absolutely charming and loving. Strict in the sense that he wanted you to do what was right by God and by law and all that. And he would say things like, you must work hard. If you don't work hard, nothing is going to drop on the platter of gold. And he would say to us, make sure you don't dabble into anything that is against the law. simply because you want to make money. Now, thinking back, God bless his soul, he meant very well. And that was how he knew to put his children and grandchildren on the straight and narrow path. The way my brain registered it was that I had to physically work hard.
Yes.
So for the longest time, I didn't think that I was deserving of anything that hadn't cost me so much. You know, I felt that the working hard meant waking up very early and being on top of it. And I'm not saying people shouldn't wake up early or people should be lazy. But it just never crossed my mind. I remember that what you think you attract. So it never crossed my mind that someone could just call me up to give me a deal when I hadn't really worked hard, you know. So those are little things that those are little ways that these things creep in.
Yeah, and it's amazing when you actually look. And I love, there's a couple of things I really want to pick up on, is that you said that there are times that you have an amazing childhood and it won't be the childhood, it will be later on. So it could be school, it could end up being, you know, university, or it could even end up being work. And it can mean that a lot of the things, a lot of the beliefs and the thoughts and that we have are not actually our own. They've actually come from elsewhere.
No, 90%, 90%, until you intentionally start sieving.
Yes. Yeah, yes, so true. And how do all of these like limiting beliefs and that actually affect our connecting to ourselves and to others? Because I mean, you know, most of the people that we have, I'm not sure about your ideal clients, but my ideal clients are business women. And, you know, if we have these limiting beliefs and we don't look at them, they can affect our connection. Can you talk more on that?
It's not that they can, they do. You know, they do. And the first step for me is awareness. Because sometimes we're so far gone in these beliefs that they become self-fulfilling prophecies.
Yep.
And nothing anyone says can change that. Until you are aware that, you know what, this thing is actually something I have convinced myself that I am. And sometimes, you know, when I'm coaching my clients and I'm asking them questions and I say, okay, who told you and why do you think it's true? You find that they don't have, you know, any body in mind. It's just their mind telling them that, oh, I walked into the room and they thought this, or I'm going to say this and no one is going to listen to me. Why do you think no one is going to listen to you? So a lot of times we've convinced ourselves. So I usually say awareness because you need to know yourself to grow yourself.
Yeah, how true is that?
So until you get to the point, until you get to the point where you honestly accept that, you know what, something isn't right. I'm not even expecting you to know whether it is procrastination or imposter syndrome or self-doubt. I'm not expecting you to know the name. I'm just expecting that come to that realization that, you know what, something needs to be done, something needs to shift. That's the first step. And then you begin to help.
Yep. And I love how you said the first step is awareness. Like that is just what I absolutely love. And because of all the work I've done, I'm a lot more aware. And also, again, you said you don't need to know at that stage, you don't need to know what it is. And for me now, I don't need to know what anything is. The awareness, okay, what's the lesson? Okay, done. But, you know, it's taken me 30 years to get to that point. I've done a lot of work. And so, how do you help your clients get that awareness?
So how do I help them? At some point, there's some work you need to do on yourself.
Mm.
You need to accept. So I'm assuming, and I believe that at the point that a client fills out a consultation form or a discovery chart or whatever, that's a one step. It doesn't mean I'm going to work with you. It doesn't mean you're going to agree with me.
Mm.
What it means is that it has crossed your mind that you need to talk to somebody.
Mm.
It doesn't have to be me,
Mm-hmm.
which is also a very good first step.
Mm.
Usually, and it's not every client that wants to work with me, and it's not every client I want to work with.
Mm.
I have learned to manage the people I let in my room and the people I let into my space, because I also am aware of myself and I know that I feed off people's energy. So I'm not letting any negative energy or any energy that doesn't align with mine come into my space. So I have this discovery chat with them, and I want to know and discover whether I can help them or not. In some cases, I'm able to say to them, I really can't help you. I can refer you, I can suggest to other people, I can't help you. In some cases, they don't even think I can help them. They probably hopped on the call because it was a free, it was a giveaway somewhere. And then they start talking and they find out. And that said, actually, yeah, there's sometimes that you're talking to people and they go, it's like an aha moment, like, that's what I've been going through. You mean that's actually, I'd always believed this about myself. And then, you can take it from there. So a lot of times, I mean, when they say, oh, I've always believed I wasn't good enough to the business I'm in, and I say, who said that to you? Oh, I just think so. That's already a sign that this person needs help. I can drill down from there. Yeah.
And I love how you talk about letting people into your environment that are right, because that's something that I had to learn. Like when I was starting out, of course, when we start out, we want clients, we want money, this kind of stuff. And now I've learned, hang on, no, even if it means that, I say to that client, then no, I don't feel I'm the right person for you. It's a beautiful awareness to get to that point to go, okay, yes, it's leaving money on the table. Yet if I let that person in, I know that it's not going to be a good relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And another thing I wanted to talk about was, the limiting beliefs again is, what can actually affect you in different ways. And we'll talk about it in a sec, but I'd love to know a limiting belief that you see come up all the time. For me, one of them was in high school, I did art. I was told by the art teacher not to continue. And so I didn't. And yet, now look, I'm an artist. That is who I am. That's part of my life. And I had to come to the awareness that I hadn't found the right technique for me. I'm an abstract artist. I'm not traditional. And that was a limiting belief that I took on. I took it on like it was unconscious. The teacher didn't actually say that I shouldn't continue, but everything that was said throughout the whole time I did art, so I didn't continue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, interesting.
It's nice that you found your way back.
It is, yeah. And I mean, it's, that's part of my life now. It's a huge part. And so with your clients, is there one
artwork you have behind you though?
Thank you. Yeah, I love it. Like it's now I found the right technique for me. It's amazing. Yeah. And that's what, that's what I had to do was I had to work through that limiting belief to come to the realization that I was an artist. And in your work, is there like a couple of limiting beliefs that keep coming up that might help people watching this be aware?
Oh yes, for the longest time, for the longest time, I was convinced that no one was going to listen to me, and nobody really gave a toss as to what I had to say. So I started my personal development and coaching journey in 2011. And it took me about 6 years to actually start saying publicly that I was a coach, a speaker, or a trainer. I would only say it in little groups and then help people in church or help friends or do like little masterminds. And then even when I started, I felt I wasn't good enough to charge a fee. And if I needed to charge a fee, I was almost begging for the barest minimum because I thought everyone was doing me a favor. Don't ask me where that came from. I'm still trying to battle it because everything around me speaks differently. I am still pruning to find out where it actually came from. I do know that at some point in time in my life, which brings me to a favorite topic I like talking about, which is who's in your room and who are the people you let into your life. So let me give you an example. Before you become aware of yourself and aware of what you want, you know, like full awareness, our lives are like an open door that just swings in and out, and everything and anything comes in. So what it is I just imagine, you know, I don't know if you have like real market squares, like you have the village market. In Nigeria, we have like real markets and, you know, the rowdy market. So it's like standing in the middle of the market and you're hearing all sorts of voices. That's basically what it is. So it brings in a lot of confusion, and that door just keeps bringing all sorts of people. People drop things on you and you have absolutely no control. Now, when you get aware, which is what I now did, I realized that in all this while, we're like a room with one door, and that door lets people in and doesn't let people out, or lets events in and doesn't let them out. So everything and everyone you've met or heard is stuck in your brain. So I realized I had to set boundaries and also train myself to be able to identify the things that just don't align with my values. And by the way, I had to define my values clearly. So at that point, I obviously was asking myself, why do you think people don't want to listen to you? And people would call me to come and speak, and I'll say to them, no, I don't want to speak. Another limiting belief I had was that I felt I wasn't photogenic. So if you called me for an event, this minute you asked for a picture, I ran away from it. You know, and everyone tried so hard to convince me that I was photogenic, but as far as I was concerned, we were lying and I was telling the truth. And at some point, I said to myself, you know what? Whether I'm photogenic or I'm not photogenic, I'm going to take the pictures because I need the pictures anyway. And whether I'm photogenic or I'm not photogenic, I'm not the prettiest person and I'm not the ugliest person. And the way I look in a picture really doesn't define who I am. So I called the photographer and I said I wanted to do a photo shoot. And the boy couldn't believe it because he's known me for years. He was like, are you sure? I said, yes. And I said to him, I said, you know what? After this, I'm going to be doing one every month. It was like,
love it.
You know, and I broke out of it. So a lot of times it's what we have said to ourselves. And also when we say it to ourselves long enough, people would say it to us.
Yeah, it's so true. And I do want to talk more about you know, the door and who we let in, because that was a big thing for me. Like, you may not know it now, but I used to be an absolute introvert, and I mean introvert, even wearing
I
clothes
still am.
that I am. I'm more of an ambivert now, but I was an extreme introvert. Like even wearing clothes where literally I could stand next to a tree and you wouldn't see me. Like I just downplayed everything. And now I've got a podcast and I've actually got like two because I'm going to be talking to artists as well. And I had to work through that as well. And that was part of who I let in. And you were talking about boundaries and values. And that was, that's something that all of us really need to look at because you're so right. The people we let in does affect us. And it will then, it may actually then give us more limiting beliefs because of what they say. And that's something that, we
Absolutely.
really, we really need to look at that. And that's where with this podcast, people have to fill in the Google form. And it's so cool because that is like an automatic thing. It's like, yes, and then no. Because if people don't fill in the form correctly, it's an automatically no, or they don't even answer questions, automatically no. And that's how I've set things up as well, because I want people on my podcast that I really want to talk to. And so that was something I had to do. And so with you, how do you help the clients understand that that's what they need to do? And is there any advice that you can give people watching?
So usually, I ask people to just vision what they want out of life.
Mm.
One of my favorite mantras is living my best life, and every day I wake up and I'm intentional about living my best life, irrespective of what it is. And I strongly believe that everyone else wants to. The difference is what I consider living my best life might be different from what you consider living your best life. So I try to make them define that life, which is also something a lot of us don't do. When we're able to visualize that life that we want, then we can begin to take steps towards achieving it. And I always say, take baby steps and always celebrate yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always celebrate yourself. Nothing is too small. So, and don't think it's automatic because the thoughts would come. So I'll give you an instance. I started a second podcast and I've had the most amazing guests, people that I never thought that I would, ever speak with. And I'm about to, I have about 10. I haven't uploaded most of the 10. And I was just saying, when I get to 10, I was really excited that I was going to do a reel with all the 10 pictures. And then something said to me, just 10 people are on their 100th episode and they're not making noise. And you're making a lot of noise about 10. And I did what I tell people to do. I stopped the thought. I processed it. And I said to myself out loud, I will celebrate every win because I'm worth it.
Yes, you are. Yes.
And the minute I said that, that was it.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? And I haven't got your link, so can you link your both of your podcasts, because I'll put that in the description, because that's something, and that's something that I've done. Like I've been a people pleaser, and I had to let go of so many limiting beliefs around business because I listened to all these business coaches and all these advice and everything, and I went, you know what? No, I'm going to listen to myself now. And that's why I started this. And this is I'm now in my second season because I'm about lifting other people up. For me, there is no competition. I mean, how many billions of people are there on this earth? There's no competition, which is why, I do this and I promote everybody because I'm so passionate about it.
And I like the fact that you said listen to yourself. That's something a lot of us don't do as well. And it's even more difficult now because everywhere is noisy.
Yeah.
If you're not watching TV, you're on your phone, you're on social media, there's just so many distractions. But listening to yourself is priceless.
It is. Yeah, it's just incredible what can actually happen. Like, yes, I do have, coaches and mentors, yet when I get on a call now, before the call, I do a little ceremony and go, okay, and because I really believe my business has an energy. And so I go, okay, business, let's work together. And what advice is right, then let's know. And if there's advice that's not right, I'm now willing to go up, stand up and go, actually, no, I won't do that. And I've had so many coaches go, what? I go, no, it's not right for me and my business. I'm the expert on my business, not you. You're the expert
Exactly.
on social media or content or something, but I'm the expert on my business. And I got to that point because I had to let go of a lot of limiting beliefs that everybody else was the expert. And that's why working with someone like you is so amazing, because we don't always know what these limiting beliefs are, because so many of them, most of them are, unconscious. And that's why it's so important that we do work with somebody else and, we learn how to quieten our mind. That's where my arts come into it. And I'm now doing the diamond art paintings, where you put the little diamonds on. Like, I'm doing different things to quieten my mind.
Love to see.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that we need to learn. And so I really want anyone watching that, if you're feeling you're not sure where your limiting beliefs are, then reach out, have a chat to Omu, or, whoever, it doesn't matter. But I have got all the links to where you can actually find Omu. So, go and chat to her. And as she said, if you don't feel it's right or Omu doesn't, then that's perfect. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've really loved our chat today, like really loved it. There's just been so many amazing little tidbits, and I really want anyone watching to realize that, life is an amazing journey. It really is. And when you have the right people around you, it is even more amazing. So thank you again, Almu, so much for your time. It really, it's so precious to me. I really do appreciate it. And for anyone watching, as I said, check in the description. I've got everything. And I've also got how you can actually be a podcast guest as well. So thank you again. And I'll see you on the next Tuesday Talk.